The Bible, a history of influence, power, and paradox. The Bible is more than a religious text. It is one of the most influential books in human history. Over the course of millennia, it has shaped civilizations, inspired revolutions, and guided moral thought across cultures. But the story of the Bible's rise to prominence is not just one of spiritual devotion, it's also a story of conquest, colonization, and the assertion of power. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you find this insightful. Your support helps bring more content like this to life and sparks meaningful conversations. The Bible as we know it is a compilation of texts written over centuries. The Hebrew Bible, or Old Testament, began taking shape around 1200 BCE with oral traditions later committed to writing. These texts told the story of the Israelites, an ancient people navigating covenant, exile, and identity with their God, Yahweh. The New Testament, compiled in the decades following the life of Jesus of Nazareth, records the teachings of Jesus and the early Christian movement. These writings were gradually accepted as scripture by early Christian communities, with the Canon largely solidified by the 4th century CE. But the Bible's influence was limited geographically and culturally until a major shift occurred: the conversion of the Roman Empire. When Emperor Constantine embraced Christianity in the early 4th century, the Bible became a tool not only of worship but of governance. As Christianity became the empire's official religion, the Bible transitioned from underground scripture to imperial doctrine. The spread of the Bible is inextricably linked to the expansion of empires, most notably European powers from the 15th century onward. During the age of exploration and colonial conquest, the Bible traveled with missionaries, merchants, and soldiers. Colonization in the Americas, Africa, and parts of Asia often went hand in hand with Christian missionary work. Conversion to Christianity was sometimes genuine and voluntary, but it was also often coerced or violently enforced. European powers used the Bible to justify their expansion, citing the Great Commission of Jesus, his command to spread the gospel to all nations. In practice, this led to the suppression of indigenous cultures, languages, and religions. Entire civilizations were upended in the name of Christ, and the Bible was often the ideological spearhead. Yet paradoxically, it was also the Bible that sowed the seeds for some of the very freedoms that would later challenge those empires. Despite its use in enforcing control, the Bible also became a text of liberation. Enslaved people in the Americas found hope and solidarity in the story of the Exodus. The Israelites escaped from bondage in Egypt. Reformers and revolutionaries have turned to its pages to advocate for justice, equality, and human rights. The Protestant Reformation of the 16th century, sparked by figures like Martin Luther, insisted on direct access to the Bible by ordinary people. This push to translate the Bible into vernacular languages undermined the authority of both church and monarchy, contributing to the rise of literacy, individual conscience, and democratic ideals. In fact, wherever the Bible took root deeply, particularly in Protestant-majority societies, a certain societal structure tended to emerge: constitutional governance, rule of law, civil liberties, and the value of the individual. While correlation is not causation, and many variables shaped Western democracies, the Bible undeniably played a role in laying their moral and philosophical foundations. One of the criticisms often levied against the Bible is that its authority rests entirely on faith. Without belief in its divine origin, what relevance does it have? Yet even outside of theology, the Bible can be justified as a foundational cultural document. Its influence on literature, art, ethics, and law is unmatched. Shakespeare, Lincoln, and Mandela all drew from its language. It shaped concepts of justice, mercy, stewardship, and the sanctity of human life. In this sense, the Bible's value transcends religion. It has become a lens through which much of the modern world understands meaning, morality, and purpose. Secular scholars like Jordan Peterson argue that the Bible contains archetypal truths about human psychology and society, regardless of one's faith. The narrative structures, the moral frameworks, the existential struggles, they resonate across belief systems. We live today in what is arguably the best time in history to be human. Lifespans are longer, fewer people live in extreme poverty, and more enjoy freedoms of speech, religion, and movement than at any point before. Many of these freedoms are most robust in societies historically shaped by the Bible. In regions where biblical influence is strong, democracy and freedom are more likely to flourish. Again, these societies are far from perfect. Corruption, inequality, and injustice persist. But compared to places where the Bible has not been central to cultural development, there is often a clearer framework for human rights and accountability. Consider countries with deep biblical roots like the United States, the United Kingdom, or the Nordic nations. Despite their flaws, they offer robust legal systems, protections for minorities, and freedom of conscience. Contrast this with authoritarian regimes or regions ruled by theocratic or tribal law, where the absence of the Bible's influence is often accompanied by greater repression. The Bible's legacy is not simple. It has been used to justify both the sword and the olive branch. It has inspired both oppressors and liberators. Its impact is neither purely divine nor wholly corrupt, but it is powerful, and that power has shaped the modern world. Whether or not one believes in its divine origin, the Bible's cultural, political, and philosophical contributions are undeniable. And in the grand arc of human history, its influence has helped create a world where human dignity, freedom, and equality have found stronger footing than ever before. In short, the Bible gave birth to the modern world. Flawed, evolving, but better than anything that came before. Don't forget to support us by subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. Drop a comment below and let us know what you enjoyed most. We'd love to hear your thoughts.